In my 20s, I had so much fun. I was living life. I was out there having the best time ever. But there are definitely some things that if I could go back and tell younger Ty, I definitely would share with her. And these are three things I wish I knew in my 20s. Hey y'all, welcome back to Vibe with Ty, Millennial Edition. I'm starting this new thing, Millennial Mondays, in which I'll be talking a little bit more about like stuff I've learned as a millennial, life lessons, and this is applicable for all ages. But today I want to focus on things that I wish I knew in my 20s, and this is stuff that can be applied to any age group. But this is definitely something if I learned earlier, I definitely would have navigated some things a little differently. So let's get into it. Number one, this is something you may hear from a lot of people, but please keep this in mind no matter what age group. What people think or say about you does not matter. It's none of your business. Who cares? Now, I do know in certain circumstances, whether it be, interviewing for a job or trying to be part of an organization, you do got to kind of care what people thinking about you. But in general, who cares what people think about you? It clogs up your brain. It really has you thinking second thoughts about yourself that are unnecessary. And most of the time, they're sometimes negative. And it's just like, what is this doing for me? As an example, in my 20s, I remember a close friend of mine, she had called me at the time, she had called me Nixie. And at that point in time, if y'all remember, like below, New York City was jumping. This is back in like 2014, 2015. And I was going to Griffin, I was going to Greenhouse, up, down, like PhD, all those places was popping. And of course, I was out there having the time of my life. I was young, I was fresh out of college, but I still was responsible. I had a 9 to 5. I still was, in school getting certifications and stuff like that and living my best life. But I took it to heart that this person who was close to me had a nerve to say that I was mixy. And in those times, being called that, meaning like you're out and about, you're always partying and stuff, it was looked upon kind of negative. And I remember being so hurt about it that I let it bother me for like mad long, probably like over 6 months, and have this like grudge towards this person. And then I realized like this person was a little bit jealous of me. I'm not even gonna lie, especially because like I was out and about. I had more friend groups than this person at the time. And those that knew me back then, if you were around Ty, I was inviting you everywhere. So she could have definitely came out and rocked out with my friends and I, but she didn't. And I really let that bother me. And that was just so unnecessary. And I let that be a part of my character. Like, please, please. Number two, if people wanted you to know anything, they would tell you. So many times we get wrapped up not knowing certain things, or you consider someone close to you and they didn't tell you something right away, and we get upset about that. The reason why they didn't tell you, or why they choose to tell you, or tell you at a later date is none of your concern. It's okay. Why are you gonna be mad and hold a grudge now against someone because they didn't tell you something where you thought you should have been the first person to be notified? And yes, it does hurt sometimes, but it's not that serious. It really is not that serious. I remember I would get mad if like a friend or a family member had an accomplishment or got something new and they didn't tell me right away and I found out some other way or found out later. Like that is just so unnecessary. And I was getting mad again, holding grudges for no reason against someone for not telling me something right away because I thought that we were so close. That doesn't measure, how close you are to a person. And I know some people may be like, well, Ty, it does. Because if they really respect you and consider you close, why wouldn't they want to tell you? Okay, you can see it as such, which I did. But then when you find out the reasonings or why they choose to keep it to themselves, people can celebrate by themselves for a little bit before they want to tell anybody anything. Okay. Or if a circumstance happens in their life that was a little not the best and they didn't want to tell you right away, and then you find out some other way, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't get yourself in a tizzy about it. And number 3, and this kind of follows up with the second one, okay? If a friend or a family member, whoever shares something with you, don't be afraid to ask them, do you want to vent or do you want advice? Because let me tell you, so many times I've wasted so much energy giving all this unsolicited advice. Okay. And a lot of times I thought my friends wanted to hear it, and maybe they did. But then I would get upset when it wasn't applied because I feel like I wasted my energy. Asking, do you want advice or do you want to vent will make things so much easier for you. Okay. And it's not a bad thing. It's not, you can be a listening ear. Being a listening ear is great. You don't always have to give your advice because then you get upset when your friend's not applying it or when they're not doing it. It is what it is. It's their life. Why are you getting mad at it for? It's unnecessary. It's truly unnecessary. And this is something that a lot of adults who are older than 20 can listen to because a lot of times problems happen, egos get into issues because you done gave somebody advice and they didn't listen to it and they didn't even ask you for it and now you're mad at them for no reason. Now tell me, does that make sense? So, yeah, I'm gonna need y'all to like that, okay? So bringing it to the top, 3 things that I wish I knew in my 20s is 1, what people think, say about you is none of your business, okay? Don't let it infiltrate your mind and stay there forever. It doesn't matter. Number 2, if people wanted you to know something, you would know that something. And if they don't, it's okay. It's okay. Don't get yourself all upset about it, okay? And number 3, don't be afraid to ask someone, do you want to vent or do you want advice? Trust me, it will save you so much energy. And on that note, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to a Vibe with Ty Millennial Mondays. Okay. If you would like your own Vibe with Ty, feel free to check out my Etsy shop below. I will make your own curated video on anything that you want to hear to get you going, keep your vibes high. And if you want, feel free to follow me on Instagram at live, Live, number 2, letter B underscore. My email is Ty Rakel, Rakel 124 at gmail.com. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, send this out to somebody that you feel like could use this advice. I so appreciate y'all for coming back. Thank you so much and see you soon.